Not sure if we're live yet. We're live. Hey everyone, this is Jim Anderson with Psalm Tree Consulting, and I just wanted to take a few moments here on the 4th of July to talk about something that we all need to think about, and that is in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about the pursuit of happiness. Well, what does that really mean? And let's think about that. Words really matter, and definitions of those words matter. And we Christians of all people should understand, how much words and definitions matter, because a little shift in the use of a word or the definition of a word can change everything. And especially today, when we are redefining a lot of words and redefining a lot of definitions of those words, we're beginning to use that to either affirm or deny reality and even shape our view of reality. George Orwell, he knew the power of words, and he was so masterful at it that, he created that. He really leveraged that in the book 1984. And that today, the intentional misuse of words is actually named after him. It's called Orwellian. So think of abortion, for example. Is abortion an issue of reproductive rights, or is it the taking of an innocent life? Not everyone, has the same definition of these words. And not every new use of words is an intentional malpractice. But, language does, it does evolve over time. And they, and culture changes over time. And sometimes words will change because the culture has changed. And sometimes culture will change because words have changed. And either way, imagine how much a word or a phrase can change over 250 years. So the word happiness, it's part of one of the most memorable lines in the Declaration of Independence. And, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And anybody who understands just how much the word happiness has changed can understand why the American experiment seems to be coming apart at the seams these days. Dictionary.com offers the definition of happiness as pleasure, contentment, joy. And in an age where we have really taken the idea of individuality and autonomy to a level that we've never had it before, where passions that are misdirected are combined with unlimited technological and financial resources. The inalienable right to pursue whatever makes us happy. In that sense, it's basically going to be a downward spiral in our moral standards, because we have a right to pursue whatever gives us pleasure. And I don't think that was the original intention of the Declaration of Independence. That's what's there to stop us from going into mindless distractions or eliminating, the consequences of our bad behavior, like unborn babies that interfere with our freedom, or ending our own lives because we think we can no longer be happy. What if I told you that the founding fathers had a really different idea about what happiness is? an author called Carly Conklin, and she makes this case in her new book, The Pursuit of Happiness in the Founding Era and Intellectual History. In the 18th century, happiness referred to a man's ability to know the law of nature. And she says, and to pursue a life of virtue. In other words, a life lived in harmony with the natural law, the principles of natural law. Chuck Colson also mentioned this back in 2010. So what then does happiness mean? Our founding fathers understood the pursuit of happiness to mean, pursuing a virtuous life. The concept of happiness came from the Greek word eudaimonia, which is a life well lived, a life that's rooted in truth. And that's what happiness is. That every man and woman has an inalienable right to pursue a virtuous life. The Declaration of Independence is both impossible to understand. They're both these concepts, the happiness and the Declaration of Independence. Both of those are impossible to understand outside of the theological framework that it was written in. I know that Jefferson, people say, Jefferson was not a Christian. I know that. And some of the other principal founders were not necessarily Christians. They held unorthodox religious beliefs. But there is one thing that all of these guys did share. They shared the idea of natural theology, that there's a creator that has created a world with natural laws that we can discern, both physical and moral, that governs the affairs of men in this country and in the world, really. But in this country, they recognize that, and it sustains us. I know, that this is a lot of heavy stuff for 4th of July when we're all having cookouts and fireworks and all of that. But the concept of true happiness is crucial for all of us. And, there was a in 2010, there was a commentary in a Barna survey that revealed that half of evangelicals agreed with the following statement: the purpose of life is enjoyment and personal fulfillment. Really? Evangelicals believe that? Consumerism and the pursuit of unbridled pleasure, they don't lead to happiness, but instead to misery. And the goal is not pleasure, it's righteous living, decency, honor, and doing good. And in short, living a virtuous life. And that should be the goal of every entrepreneur and every business owner, should be to pursue a business that conducts a righteous business, is decent and honorable and does good, contributes value to society. And with that, I say amen. Happy 4th of July.